Artwork. Artwork in itself is a manifestation of humanity's creativity. Each piece of beautiful artwork comes with a bit of personality.
Yes. Such rich history in each Wait. No, stop. Oh my god. What are you doing? Somebody clean that up. Oh, that came off pretty easy. Oh my gosh, they did it again. It's gonna cost millions to repair this. Why would anyone? With every great work of art comes someone who is willing to destroy it for a grander purpose. Art can hold a lot of symbolic value, not only to a people, but to a nation.
The Mona Lisa, for example, is easily one of the most recognizable artworks in the world. It has also been vandalized 6 times since its creation. When the Mona Lisa was first stolen by Vincenzo Peruggia, its popularity skyrocketed. It was first vandalized in 1956 using acid, damaging a portion of the painting. Later on that same year, a man named Ugo Unzaga Villegas threw a rock at the Mona Lisa, breaking the glass and leaving damage on the shoulder.
In 1973, the Mona Lisa was displayed at the Tokyo National Museum. Before its exhibition, the government grew concerned about overcrowding around the museum. To mitigate this issue, they decided to refuse entry to all disabled parties. If you needed any help getting in, you just weren't getting in. This obviously caused serious backlash from the general public. Angry crowds began to gather around the Tokyo National Museum, and a woman named Tomoko Yanazu threw red paint all over the Mona Lisa. Although she was arrested, the government recognized the issue and held an exclusive day for the disabled parties to view the museum.
In another incident, a Russian woman threw an empty teacup at the Mona Lisa. She failed to get her French citizenship and just had to blow off some steam. She was detained and forced to pay a light fine.
In 2022, an activist disguised himself as an old lady and smeared cake all over the Mona Lisa. And then in 2024, another activist group threw soup all over the Mona Lisa, but not really anyone seemed to care.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So the Mona Lisa, in total, has had acid, rocks, paint, soup, and cake thrown at it all throughout the years.
Keep in mind that by the time acid was thrown onto the Mona Lisa, majority of paintings were protected by bulletproof glass, meaning that there wasn't actually that much damage to the paintings themselves.
However, that isn't always the case. For example, a man named Robert Cambridge snuck a shotgun into the British National Gallery and blasted through a painting. While the painting was protected by bulletproof glass, it could only do so much against the sawed-off shotgun. The Virgin and Child with St. Anne and St. John the Baptist was left with a massive blast in the center of the frame. After Robert shot the painting, he simply sat down and waited to be arrested. The painting was valued at over $35 million and took over a 7-month process to repair.
The process for that is also pretty interesting. If you want to look at that, check that out.
However, not all people vandalize paintings out of spite. Some do it out of pure stupidity. For example, a man named Alexander Vasilev drew a face on a faceless painting called Three Figures using a ballpoint pen at Yekaterinburg Yetkin Center. Alexander was just hired at the Yeltsin Center, and it was literally his first day on the job. And look what he did. When asked why he did this, the 64-year-old man said he was, quote, provoked by some teenagers. 64-year-old man.
Once they discovered what he had done, he was taken to court. Ultimately, though, Alexander did little damage to the paintings, and the charges against him were dropped. It is important to note that Alexander was a decorated veteran, so he may have just been really absent-minded that day. In another instance, a woman named Rindy Sam kissed an all-white triptych piece of artwork by Cy Twombly.
A triptych is just a painting divided into multiple sections. See, Rindy Sam was a bit of an artist herself, and she thought her big lipstick print would be appreciated and a good addition to the painting. Security and Cy Twombly himself did not see it that way. She was arrested immediately and taken to court. It didn't help that the painting was valued at $2.7 million. Lucky for her, she was only given a €1,000 fine.
This next piece of artwork just had a knack for getting stabbed. The Night Watch by Rembrandt Hermosen van Regen has been vandalized 3 times to varying degrees of success. This painting is also massive, standing at 12 feet tall and 14 feet wide. So to do some damage, you're gonna have to be really intentional. The first knife attack was by a shoemaker with a butter knife. He was just angry at his lack of employment. The second attempt was made by an unemployed school teacher, also with a knife. However, this guy wasn't protesting his lack of employment. Instead, he said that he, quote, did it for the Lord. Well, the Lord must have really hated this painting because he left cuts up to 12 feet long, the entire length of the painting. Thankfully, the painting was eventually restored, but there is still visible marks of the attack till this day.
Lastly, an escaped mental patient in 1990 tried the good old bottle of acid trick to finish the job. But luckily, security was able to stop them before any real damage was done. One of the more unique instances of art vandalism is a college student named Jubal Brown in 1996. Jubal Brown was a college student at Ontario College of Art, and he vandalized multiple paintings and almost actually got away with it. One thing about Jubal Brown is that he seemed to have a deep-seated hatred for modern art. He, quote, found its lifelessness threatening and it made me sick. He went as far as to say that modern art was oppressive.
However, Jubal had a plan to, quote, destroy art, to liberate individuals and living creatures from its banal, oppressive representation. He would first consume copious amounts of icing and jello and projectile vomit them onto paintings across the world. He would first consume blue icing before walking into the Museum of Modern Art in New York and throwing up on the painting composition red, white, and blue. Although Jubal Brown was stopped by police, he was let go with no charges. But Jubal Brown wasn't done yet. He vomited again, this time using red gelatin on The Harbor at Le Harvey, a painting at the Art Gallery of Ontario. However, Jubal wasn't satisfied. He announced to the media through a telephone interview that he had one more target left, planning to spew yellow on an unnamed painting. This is where he really messed up though. See, as far as these 2 art galleries understood, this was an accident, but once he announced to the media that he was doing a third, this prompted the 2 other art galleries to take legal action.
Although Jubal was unable to complete his final act on the last painting, he did not receive any legal punishment. One thing about all these art vandals that's consistent, besides unemployment, is their want to make a mark, to prove something, or to cause some kind of change in their day-to-day. In recent years, however, social media has led to activist groups using vandalism as a tool to garner support for their cause. And out of all the other groups, there's one group that stands out in particular.
Just Stop Oil.
Oil. Just stop. Oil. Just stop. Oil.
Once again, Just Stop Oil proved that they are the enemy of the people. They were swiftly removed, and rightfully so.
Do it! Stop oil! For the Dragon Balls!
These guys have been vandalizing paintings all across Europe in protest against climate change. Now first, let me get this out of the way. Climate change is a serious issue, an issue that people in power often have incentives to ignore. And let's be real, the effects of climate change can be felt with each passing year. Like, we all understand that every new year shouldn't also be the hottest year we've ever had. However, Just Stop Oil protests can actively exacerbate the problem. Stopping traffic often makes cars have to idle for longer and release more carbon emissions. The paint they use is often cauliflower based, but it's unlikely to be the case in every scenario. Not only that, but their tendencies to disrupt events often makes the general public perceive them more as a nuisance than an actual organization.
But is there a risk you're turning people off your cause with this kind of action? I mean,
There's
I know
no evidence of that, Anna. Honestly, with love and respect to you and your family and everyone listening, there is no evidence of that.
Really? You don't see how this could do damage to your organization's image? Ultimately though, their goal is to get Europe to commit to a no oil, no gas, no coal plan by 2030. A pretty big ask considering where EV technology is at the time, its limitations, and its price point.
On top of the fact that oil, gas, and coal are all massive industries by themselves, their climate change protests are much different than your usual activists. Their activities can almost be perceived as pranks on the public.
Humanity is failing.
Interrupting events, standing or sitting out in traffic, and getting arrested by the police. They're also known for using orange paint and soup to ruin monuments, paintings, and events. For example, in 2022, two girls wearing JSO shirts threw soup onto a portion of Vincent van Gogh's painting, Sunflower. Despite gluing themselves to the wall, the two girls were arrested and were sentenced to a combined 2 years and 30 months in jail.
In another incident, Just Stop Oil protesters sat in the road during the British Grand Prix. And in another, sprayed orange paint onto Stonehenge.
Like, what does Stonehenge got to do with this?
Even after the most recent US election, Just Stop Oil activists sprayed orange paint onto the US Embassy in London. Not even gamers were safe, as Just Stop Oil activists interrupted a Tekken 7 tournament, stopping them from crowning a victor. No! Not the gamers! Wait! My 2K! Now, they do a lot more than these attacks, but they tend to do a similar thing at each place. Throw some substance at a monument or art piece, glue your hand to the wall, and sit. These attempts often fail to reach the people that they're actually expecting change from. I mean, come on. Can throwing soup on a Van Gogh painting really change the opinion of a guy like Tony Hayward, CEO during the Deepwater Horizon oil spill?
No one who wants this thing over more than I do. You know, I'd like my life back.
I think the environmental impact of this disaster is likely to be very modest.
The chairman of BP had the gall, the arrogance, to go to a yacht race in England while all of this was going on here. I thought that was the height of stupidity.
From the moment on April 20th that oil began fouling the Gulf, BP seemed to view the disaster through rose-colored glasses.
Do you think this guy's in tears because there's spray paint on Stonehenge? No. The main people they hurt with their protest is the everyday people. The guy just trying to get to work, or the woman in labor trying to get to the hospital. All of this is to say that the issues that they protest are important, but their methods are counterintuitive to those very same goals. There is something inherently displeasing about seeing art be destroyed.
To see something that likely took hours and sometimes years be hit with soup makes us feel like that for a reason.
For one, it's like a piece of history is being erased. But the stains on these paintings are a perfect representation of the realities of our modern world.
A picturesque look from afar, but the stains of reality lay just below the surface.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you reached the end of this video, I just want you to know I really appreciate it. This video has been the culmination of multiple months of work. So I hope that the video has actually reflected that. And if you liked our content, you know, YouTuber moment, surprise, subscribe to the channel so, you know, we know you guys actually like this content. So yeah, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one.